All right, welcome back. We're doing another deep dive today, pulling wisdom from impactful books.
That's right. Today it's Atomic Habits by James Clear. Really popular book.
Definitely. And the core idea, the big question he tackles, is how these really small, tiny daily habits can actually lead to, well, massive changes in your life.
Exactly. It seems counterintuitive sometimes, but that's the central theme we're digging into.
Okay, so let's jump in. The first big concept is it's the power of 1% improvements, right?
Yeah, the 1% rule. It sounds almost insignificant day to day. Improving just 1%, you probably wouldn't even notice it.
No, you wouldn't feel it immediately. It's not some huge leap.
But Clear's point is the compounding. If you actually get 1% better each day for a whole year, the math is, well, pretty staggering. You end up about 37 times better.
Wow, 37 times.
It's like compound interest for self-improvement, small, consistent deposits. They add up to something really substantial over the long haul. It's all about that long-term accumulation.
That makes sense. It shifts the focus from, like, instant results to sustainable progress, which kind of leads into his next point about identity, doesn't it?
It really does. This is a big one. Identity-based habits versus goal-oriented ones.
Explain that a bit more.
Well, instead of just saying, I want to run a marathon, that's the goal, you shift your focus to, I am a runner. You focus on becoming the type of person who achieves those things.
Okay, so the habits become proof of that identity.
Exactly. Every time you lace up your shoes, even for a short run, you're reinforcing the identity of being a runner. It's much more powerful internally than just chasing an outcome.
So the prompt for you, the listener, is really, who do you want to become? And then what habits would that person have?
Precisely. And understanding how habits actually work is key to building them. That's where the habit loop comes in.
Like the loop. What are the parts again?
Okay, so every habit has 4 stages.
Okay.
First, the cue, that's the trigger. Then the nourishment, creating the motivation or desire. Then the response, the actual habit itself. And finally, the reward, the satisfaction you get.
Cue, craving, response, reward. Got it.
And knowing this loop, well, it gives you the levers to change things, to build good habits or break bad ones.
How so? Give me an example.
Okay, say you want to go to the gym more often. A good habit. You need to make the cue obvious. So maybe you put your gym clothes right by your bed. That's your cue when you wake up.
Makes sense. You see them, it triggers the thought.
Exactly. And this understanding underpins his 4 laws of behavior change. They're basically practical ways to manipulate that loop.
Okay, what are the 4 laws?
Law 1. Make it obvious. That's about managing the cue. Make the cues for good habits visible and hide the cues for bad habits.
Okay. Law 2.
Make it attractive. This tackles the craving. You need to associate the habit with positive feelings, maybe pair it with something you enjoy.
Right. Law 3.
Make it easy. This is
Yeah.
about the response. Reduce friction. Make the habit require as little effort as possible, especially at the start. Like the 2-minute rule, just do it for 2 minutes.
I like that one. And the last law?
Law 4. Make it satisfying. That's the reward part. The habit needs to feel good immediately, even in a small way, to reinforce the loop.
Obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying. That's a really clear framework. And he also talks about reversing these for bad habits, right? Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, unsatisfying.
Absolutely. It works both ways. It's a very practical toolkit.
And there's one more key distinction you mentioned earlier, systems over goals.
Yes. This is crucial. Goals are the results you want to achieve, like losing 20 pounds or writing a novel.
Okay. And systems.
Systems are the processes you follow that lead to those results. So for weight loss, the system might be eating healthy meals daily, exercising 4 times a week. For the novel, it's writing 500 words every morning.
So Clear argues we should focus more on this system.
Pretty much. Goals are good for setting direction, but systems are what actually make progress happen. If you focus only on the goal, what happens when you achieve it? Or if you don't achieve it quickly?
Right. You might lose motivation or feel lost. But if you have a good system,
You just keep going. You fall in love with the process, the daily practice. Success becomes almost a natural byproduct of having the right system in place, rather than this stressful thing you're always chasing.
so wrapping it all up, the message from Atomic Habits seems to be focus on small, consistent 1% improvements. Build habits that align with the identity you want. Understand the habit loop and use the 4 laws. Make it obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying. And crucially, focus on building effective systems, not just chasing goals.
That's a great summary. It's about playing the long game, building momentum through tiny wins, and designing your environment and routines to support who you want to be.
It really makes you think. Maybe the question for you listening isn't what big goal should I set, but what tiny system could I start today that moves me 1% closer to the person I aspire to be? Something small, but consistent.
Exactly. That could be the most powerful change of all.
Great insight. Thanks for breaking down Atomic Habits with me.
My pleasure. Lots to think about there.